There will come a day when the person who once broke you, mocked you, and called your pain drama will suddenly drop their mask. They'll look you in the eyes and beg for mercy. Not because they've changed, but because, for the first time, you did. You stopped feeding their power. You stopped believing their story. And now, they're the one gasping for emotional air. Narcissists don't apologize then, they strategize. Those 5 words hold a truth that can shatter illusions and free you from emotional manipulation. When a narcissist says, "I'm sorry," it's not an act of humility, it's a carefully calculated move. It's a strategy designed to pull you back into their orbit, to make you second-guess your reality, and to reopen the doors you worked so hard to close. They study your empathy, your compassion, your desire to fix things, and they weaponize it. When they sense you slipping away, their apologies begin to flow. But notice the timing. It's never when you're crying, breaking, or begging for change. It's when you finally stop chasing their approval. It's when your silence scares them. Because silence to a narcissist is not peace, it's punishment. Your calm signals that they no longer control your emotions, and that's when panic sets in. Their apology becomes a chess move, not a confession. They'll say the right words. "I know I hurt you. I can't lose you. I'll do anything to make it right." But beneath that emotional display lies fear, not love. They fear losing their supply. They fear losing the person who once mirrored their greatness back to them. Their apology is an emotional leash disguised as remorse. It's meant to pull you closer just long enough for them to rebuild control. You might notice how their tone shifts during these moments. They'll lower their voice, look sincere, maybe even shed tears. But true remorse brings change, not performance. Anam. Narcissists' tears dry up the moment they get what they want. Your attention, your guilt, your forgiveness. That's because for them, forgiveness is not about healing, it's about resetting the game. And once they've regained their footing, the cycle starts again. The same manipulation, the same blame shifting, the same quiet erosion of your confidence. Their sorry is not an end, it's a pause. It's the calm between storms that always return harder than before. Understanding this truth doesn't make you cold-hearted. It makes you wise. You begin to see that not every apology deserves acceptance. You learn to listen with your eyes, not your ears. You start noticing whether their actions match their words. And when they don't, you stop participating in the illusion. Real healing begins when you stop craving closure from someone who profits from your confusion. You realize their apology isn't for your peace, it's for their convenience. They want you to reset the boundaries that protect you. They want you to reopen the door they know they'll destroy again. So the next time a narcissist says, "I'm sorry," pause. Look deeper. Are they sorry for what they did? Or are they sorry you finally noticed? The difference will save you years of pain. Because when a narcissist apologizes, it's not a bridge to reconciliation, it's bait. And the most powerful thing you can do is not bite. Silence is your greatest power. It is the language narcissists cannot speak, the battlefield where they always lose. When you stop reacting, when your emotions no longer dance to their rhythm, the narcissist feels an unfamiliar kind of fear, the fear of irrelevance. They thrive on chaos, on emotional energy, on your need to explain, defend, or fix. Every argument you enter becomes their fuel. Every tear you shed tells them they still have access to your heart. But when you fall silent, truly silent, not out of revenge, but out of self-respect, their entire game begins to collapse. To a narcissist, silence is not peace, it's starvation. It denies them the oxygen of attention. They need your reactions like a plant needs sunlight. When you stop responding, you take away their reflection, the mirror that once showed them their power. That's when you'll see their confusion turn to anger, their charm turn to cruelty, and their desperation rise. They will provoke you, guilt you, and even beg for communication because your silence threatens their control. At first, they will test you. They'll send messages that mix sweetness with subtle guilt. "I just want to talk. I miss you. I don't understand why you're acting this way." These aren't invitations to heal. They're traps designed to pull you back into emotional exchange. When you answer, even once, they win. Every word you speak becomes a thread they use to pull you back into their web. But when you stay silent, the thread breaks. Silence is not passive. It's an act of power. It's you choosing not to explain your worth, not to justify your pain, not to correct their lies. It's the loudest statement you can make, that their voice no longer dictates your peace. It's not easy because silence feels unnatural at first. You've been trained to defend yourself, to seek understanding, to fix the unfixable. But once you experience the freedom of disengagement, you realize silence doesn't mean weakness, it means clarity. The narcissist will try everything to make you speak again. They might switch tactics, using kindness or fake vulnerability. They might play the victim, making you feel cruel for walking away. But remember, the moment you break your silence, the performance resets. The manipulation resumes. You find yourself back in the same cycle of chaos, wondering how you got pulled in again. True silence, however, isn't just about ignoring them. It's about healing yourself. It's about redirecting all the energy you once gave to explaining yourself toward rebuilding your peace. When you stop fighting for their understanding, you start fighting for your freedom. The more silent you become, the louder your self-respect grows. And one day, they'll realize their words, their guilt, their rage, none of it reaches you anymore. That's when you've truly won. Because silence, when born from strength, isn't empty. It's full of power, boundaries, and peace they can never take away again. You said, they beg when new supply fails. That's one of the most revealing moments in a narcissist's life, when the illusion they built with someone new begins to crack. In the beginning, they act as if you never mattered. They flaunt their new relationship, their new perfect life, their new source of admiration. They'll make sure you see it, hear about it, or feel its presence. It's not love they're showing off. It's a performance meant to wound you. They want you to believe they've replaced you effortlessly, that they've found someone better. But behind that confident mask, something far more fragile hides, their deep, unrelenting emptiness. When that new supply starts to see the truth, the cracks begin to form. The charm fades, the lies surface, and the narcissist's perfect image starts to fall apart. They begin to sense the shift. The new person isn't feeding them enough attention, admiration, or obedience. They start losing control again, and that's when they turn back toward you. Suddenly, you'll hear from them, a message, a call, a memory from the past. They might say they miss you, that they made a mistake, that no one understands them like you did. Their tone will be soft, nostalgic, and carefully calculated. It's not love calling you back, it's desperation disguised as connection. A narcissist doesn't miss you as a person. They miss the control they had over you, the comfort of knowing you'd always respond, always care, always try to help them. You were once their emotional home, not because they valued you, but because you served their needs perfectly. When the new supply fails, they come back to the old one, not to rebuild love, but to refill power. You become their emotional backup plan. They'll say things that sound sincere. I've changed. I finally see what I did wrong. You're the only one who truly loved me. But notice how quickly the conversation ion shifts once you let them back in. The apology fades, the control begins again, the same emotional games restart, and before long, you're back in the same storm you once escaped. Understanding this cycle is liberation. It helps you see that their return is not a miracle of growth. It's a symptom of failure. The moment their new illusion collapses, they run to the last person who made them feel powerful, you. And the greatest strength you can show is recognizing that pattern and refusing to repeat it. You are not a revolving door for their ego. You are not a safe haven for their chaos. You are not responsible for soothing the wounds their own actions created. When they come back begging, remember, they're not coming for your love. They're coming for your energy. So let them knock on the closed door of your peace. Don't answer. Let them face the emptiness they tried to fill through others. That emptiness isn't yours to heal anymore. Karma makes them desperate. The narcissist lives believing they are untouchable, that the rules of accountability don't apply to them, that consequences are for other people. For a long time, it even looks that way. They walk away from the chaos they create, leaving others to pick up the pieces. They manipulate, betray, and destroy trust, and yet somehow they seem to keep moving forward. New job, new partner, new life. But life has its own rhythm, and truth has its own timing. Eventually, the very things they used to escape others become the chains that pull them down. When that happens, when karma finally arrives, that's when you'll see a narcissist beg for mercy. It doesn't happen suddenly. At first, they try to outsmart life the same way they outsmarted people. They'll lie, shift blame, or play the victim. But over time, their own patterns begin to turn against them. The people they used for admiration begin to see through their mask. The charm no longer works. Their manipulations backfire. The lies collide, the image cracks, and the world they built on illusion begins to crumble. That's when fear sets in. Not fear of what they've done, but fear of losing control. And then, in their desperation, they come back to you. The person they once mocked, devalued, or discarded suddenly becomes their lifeline. You'll hear the tremble in their voice. You'll see the sorrow in their eyes. They'll talk about how they've suffered, how everyone turned against them, how no one understands. It might sound like regret, but it's not. What you're seeing is survival. The narcissist isn't begging because they've awakened to their damage. They're begging because their manipulation has stopped working elsewhere. They want mercy, not justice, not forgiveness, but relief from the consequences they created. They'll appeal to your empathy, the very quality they once exploited. They naumanan. Ow, your heart is kind, and they count on that kindness to shield them once again. They'll say, "You're the only one who truly cared for me," or "I've changed, please believe me this time." But if you look closely, you'll notice something missing: accountability. They'll talk about how bad they feel, but never what they did. They'll cry about how life has been unfair, but never about how they were unfair to others. Karma has a way of doing what no amount of confrontation ever could. It humbles the narcissist. But that humility isn't transformation. It's temporary fear. Once they're comfortable again, once the storm passes, they'll return to who they were. That's why your role isn't to save them. It's to stay free. When karma finds them, let it. You don't have to witness their downfall or celebrate it. Just understand that life is teaching them in ways you never could. Their desperation is proof that the universe has taken over where you left off. And the most powerful thing you can do in that moment is nothing. Silence and distance are the only mercy they truly deserve. Your healing is their greatest loss. To a narcissist, your pain was always their proof of power. They needed you to hurt because your suffering validated their control. The tears, the confusion, the begging, it all fed their ego, confirming that they mattered more than your peace. But the moment you begin to heal, truly heal, something inside them shatters. Not because they love you, but because they can no longer use you. Your healing exposes their weakness. It shows them that their power was never real, only borrowed from your wounds. Healing doesn't happen overnight. It begins quietly, often after the final heartbreak, when you're too tired to fight, too empty to chase answers. You start reclaiming your energy piece by piece through boundaries, silence, truth, and self-respect. And as you do, the narcissist senses the shift. You no longer react to their provocations. You no longer crave their validation. You start seeing them not as a mystery to solve, but as a pattern to avoid. That calmness, that indifference, terrifies them more than anger ever did. They will try to pull you back the moment they feel you slipping away. They might test your progress by reaching out, reminding you of old memories, or pretending to change. They will use your compassion as bait, hoping to lure you into the same emotional chaos where they once thrived. But healing teaches you a new language, one that doesn't respond to manipulation. You no longer argue, defend, or explain. You simply walk away, not out of hate, but out of self-love. To the narcissist, your healing feels like punishment. They can't stand the thought that you're smiling without them, peaceful without their approval, thriving outside their control. They'll rewrite history, tell others that you were the problem or that you abandoned them. But deep down, they know the truth. You didn't leave to hurt them. You left to heal yourself. And that's what burns the most. Healing is not about revenge. It's not about showing them you've won. It's about realizing that their validation was never the prize. Your peace was. The more you focus on your growth, the smaller their presence becomes. They go from being the center of your world to just another lesson in it. Your energy shifts from survival to creation, from pain to purpose. You begin attracting people who match your peace instead of your trauma. And one day, without even noticing, you'll think of them and feel nothing. No hate, no sadness, no longing, just neutrality. That's the day you'll know your healing is complete. That's the day the narcissist truly loses, because they can no longer touch you emotionally. Your healing doesn't just free you from them, it destroys the illusion they built around you. You become proof that no one stays broken forever. You become the one thing a narcissist can never control, someone who knows their worth. Their mercy is manipulation, not remorse. When a narcissist begs for forgiveness, it can look convincing. Their voice cracks, their eyes water, and their words seem full of regret. But if you look closely, you'll see something missing behind the tears: genuine accountability. They don't say, I understand how I hurt you. They say, please don't leave me. The difference is everything. Their plea for mercy isn't born from guilt, it's born from fear. Fear of losing control, of facing consequences, of being exposed for who they truly are. Narcissists don't feel remorse the way healthy people do. Remorse requires empathy, and empathy demands awareness of another person's pain. What they feel instead is discomfort, the unease of watching their manipulation fail. When they beg for mercy, it's not an apology for the harm they've caused, it's a tactic to reset the power dynamic. They want you to see them as vulnerable, to doubt your boundaries, and to feel compassion for their supposed suffering. Because if you pity them, you'll lower your guard, and when your guard drops, their control returns. You can often recognize their manipulation in the way they phrase their apologies. They say things like, I'm sorry you feel that way, which shifts responsibility onto you. Or, I didn't mean to, but you made me angry, which justifies their behavior. Sometimes they'll even say, I've changed, without ever acknowledging what they need to change from. Every word is carefully chosen to appear sincere while still protecting their ego. Their mercy is a performance designed to win back the stage they lost. Once you give in, the cycle begins again. The kindness fades, the charm dissolves, and the same patterns of control, guilt, and emotional neglect return. That's because nothing inside them truly shifted. They simply adapted to survive. To them, mercy is not about healing a relationship. It's about regaining access to the person who once made them feel powerful. It's painful to accept this truth because their remorse often mirrors what we wish they'd feel. We want to believe they finally understand that all the pain meant something, that the apology is real. But narcissists study your empathy. They know exactly how to speak to your heart, how to mimic the emotions you crave. Their goal isn't reconciliation, it's restoration of control. Once they have it, the mask drops again. True remorse is followed by change. It's quiet, humble, and consistent. It's not about words, it's about accountability, effort, and empathy. A narcissist's mercy has none of that. It's temporary, conditional, and self-serving. So when they beg for mercy, pause and look deeper. Ask yourself, do their actions match their words? Or is their apology just another way to make you stay? The most powerful act of self-respect you can offer is recognizing the difference. Their mercy is manipulation, but your awareness is freedom. And once you see the truth, you can never be controlled by the illusion again,